When I got back into video game collecting, the first console I wanted to collect for was the original PlayStation. I love JRPGs, and some of the best ever made are on that console. And one of the first games that I wanted was Final Fantasy Chronicles. I really like this version of Final Fantasy IV. The load times are a little bit long, but this is closer to the original Japanese release than any other version ever released in North America. When I went looking for this game, I was surprised to find that you could actually find it brand new on Amazon for I think like 15-20 bucks or so. And that's exactly what I did. I bought it brand new off Amazon. And it came a couple days later and I wanted to play it right away. And that was when I noticed something strange about these game discs, which is that they do not have the same black bottom that I have seen on every other PlayStation 1 game. Now I'm sure anybody watching this video will know what a PlayStation 1 game should look like. But for the sake of comparison, here's a copy of Dragon Warrior 7 that I bought off eBay a few years ago. If we open that up and look at the game discs, we see that they are black. So my first thought with that copy of Final Fantasy Chronicles is that whoever was selling it on Amazon was probably just selling some really good repros, and I should probably get a legit copy of the game later. But then there was another game I wanted to add to my collection, and that was Chrono Cross here. I've never really gotten around to playing this game very much, which is funny because I love Chrono Trigger, but I just never really got around to the sequel. I bought this game telling myself that I would finally get around to playing it, and then that sort of didn't happen, but that's not the point. This is another game that I found brand new on Amazon for about 15-20 bucks or so. And since I just wanted to play the game, I didn't care if I got a repro copy or not, and I assumed that from Amazon they would be coming from the same place. And so when the game came in, I was not at all surprised to see that these discs are not black either. So those two games kind of sat in my collection for a few years, and I actually kind of forgot about them for a little bit, until one day I was rearranging shit in my room here. I stumbled across them again and they piqued my curiosity. I've seen that there are some PS1 games that you can buy brand new off of the official Square Enix website, so I thought I would try a bit of an experiment. And I bought a brand new copy of Final Fantasy Origins off of the official Square Enix website. I actually already own a copy of this game. I love the original Final Fantasy a little bit more than I should, and this is my favorite version of that game. But I really wanted to know if a game from the Square Enix website would be black on the bottom or not. So when it came in, I opened it up and once again, this was a brand new sealed copy from the official Square Enix website. We open it up and we see that this game disc is not black on the bottom. Now all of these game discs work, and I'll use them to grab some B-roll on my actual PS1 later, just to sort of illustrate that yes, these do all play on official hardware. I've even played through all of this exact copy of Final Fantasy IV and most of Chrono Trigger, and I got tired of the load times on that one. But I have absolutely no clue as to why these discs do not have the black bottom that every other PS1 game has. So what's going on with these games and why are they so different from every other PS1 game out there? My first thought is that they're probably simple repro copies, but the fact that Final Fantasy Origins came from the official Square Enix website raises a lot of questions for me. For example, does Sony know or even care that Square is creating repros for the PS1? Or do they have some kind of a deal that allows Square to still publish games on that old console? And I also want to know when these discs were actually manufactured, because I don't think it was recent. I think that these have been sitting in the Square Enix warehouse for quite a while now. And the reason why I think that is because I think that if they were actively printing PS1 games, they would have a little bit of a better selection than they have right now. If you go to their website, you can find all three of these games and Final Fantasy IX brand new for around 15-20 bucks or so. Now all of these games are very good games, but they do not have new copies of either Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VIII on that website. And I feel like if they were actively printing new PS1 games, it would only make sense for them to be printing new copies of the most popular game that they ever made, and its direct follow-up, which also sold very well when it came out. And if they have been in a warehouse for a while, how long were they sitting in that warehouse for? And did Square print other games like Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII without those black discs? And then the warehouse sold completely out of those, and so that's why they're not on the website now. If you go to the same website, you can find brand new copies of most of the PS2 Final Fantasy games, as well as all of the PS2 Kingdom Hearts games. And I want to know, do those games have a similar story? So once again, I have no idea what's going on with these PS1 games, or why they don't have the black bottom that every other PS1 game has. And I don't even really know how to go about finding out more about this. If you have any thoughts about that, let me know about it in the comments down below. So that will do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it or at least found it interesting. Give the video a thumbs up if you did, and let me know about it in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I upload every Saturday. Follow me on Twitter, and I hope to see you next time.